On this edition of Search and Restore, an old rundown pony car to some is this war veteran's dream machine. Tim and the team are lending a hand to Sergeant Paul Kaler, a man who answered the call of duty for the love of country. Today, the volunteer spirit thrives when his Mustang gets grown-up power and the full body treatment.
On the last episode, the first day alone with all the guys, we put 100 man hours. 100 man hours in one day. We've been doing that ever since. So the plan is for this week to try to get this baby actually painted. I know that sounds like a tall order. We've got 7 top shelf body guys over here just wailing away in this prep station. I think we can do it. Also, the engine's supposed to be here, so the guys from Horsepower are gonna be putting that thing together and running it on the dyno.
But for now, it's 7 guys in a booth. Sounds like a bad movie.
It's kind of like working in the middle of an anthill with like dudes running all over the place.
All these guys are my buddies, and I know they all kind of look like they're on the work release program from the local prison. I'm not too sure, but I don't care as long as they keep working.
Hopefully by lunch, have it in the booth, getting it ready for primer. So, we'll see.
This is a tall order, a very tall order. Slinging a lot of mud. We're gonna be like blowing Bondo boogers out of our nose for the next 2 days.
This is Mitch Henderson. He brought his Texas chain gang.
It's gonna look good.
That is Mike Coy.
I've known Mike for a long time. He's like a total ninja. I brought my business partner, Kenny Murphy, and he's like Opie Taylor. Rob's our resident funny man. Tim told me we needed to get this thing done this week, and so I put a good team of guys together to shop and brought them out.
We're gonna sand a little more. We're gonna get it in the booth. Spray some primer on it, and go back to sanding again.
Pluck, pluck, pluck while I sing this song. Gonna sand this hood, gonna make it shine.
It does get redundant. It does get old. Your hands are all dry from lacquer thinner, and your fingertips are worn out from sanding and this and that. But all you gotta do is think about who this car's for and what it's about. Now it goes away.
So many servicemen out there that have served in the past and are currently serving that really deserve something like this. So I look at this more like a representative type person, not so much as this guy deserves this. I'm looking at it more like this is representative of how we feel about the armed forces and how we really want to show our appreciation for them.
Otherwise it goes.
And crews from Henderson's, Hudson's, Mustang Central all showed their appreciation by shutting down their businesses to volunteer here.
Seeing the look on the guy's face when he gets the car, and being able to work with some good friends and good buddies, I think that's what's nice. I'm getting to see something come back to life, that may not have.
Did you just call me a good buddy?
No.
I figured.
I was hoping.
Definitely one of our good buddies is Jesse Kershaw of Ford Racing.
It's such a neat project. It's an iconic Mustang, 67, 68 body style. And the opportunity to build this for one of our wounded veterans and contribute to this program is just something we're very proud to be part of.
And what did he bring?
All right, guys, this is a new little 363 Ford Racing's doing out of the Boss 302.
We wanted to incorporate that spirit of that original Boss 302 by putting in screw-in freeze plugs and 4-bolt main and add the extra cubic inches to step up from a 347 to a 363.
This thing is strong enough to take nitrous, blowers, turbochargers, pro chargers, whatever you want to throw at this block, it'll take. We're not going to go for the racing motor today. We're going to give this guy a reliable power plant with no leaks, strong bottom end, great heads and intake and carburetor combination that he can actually use.
Edelbrock stepped up with the entire top end. The cam operates between 15 and 6,500 RPM, perfect for the street. These E205 heads with 60cc combustion chambers offer the right amount of compression, and the exhaust port is in the stock location for off-the-shelf headers. Before they went on, we checked for valve clearance, looks good to me, and measured for push rods. Set them on roller lifters, topped off with Edelbrock's best roller rockers. And finally, with a Canton pump, pickup, and pan, we're dyno bound.
It's got to be a daily driver, but it's also got to be strong enough that when he wants to get in it and drive it like he stole it, he can. I think it's going to come out well on the dyno, and I think this guy's going to absolutely love it.
Probably an hour. Car's looking good. Now if they could just control their dust.
Next, more prep before it heads into the paint booth Plus, everyone hopes Mike's tune is music to their ears. Stay tuned.
We're gonna start body work in the engine compartment and finish body work in the engine compartment so we can get it primer tonight. Man, we got a lot of work done yesterday, didn't we? We've done priming, fit, and blocking. All the panels are on. Block across all the panels so they all line up nice and pretty when you're all done. So now it's all blown apart and ready to start putting colors. Us in the industry, we just call that jamming it. Let's start welding up some holes in here that we don't need, make the engine compartment look a little prettier. I'll start welding, somebody else can weld. Somebody needs to weld those seat risers in there.
Tim works fast. A lot happening.
Jeff Dunham used to run an off-road shop, and now he's known for custom paint and fabrication and metal skills back in the Midwest.
When they're still in primer, they still have potential. Once you put color on, that's it. So it either makes it or breaks it.
We're exfoliating the car, giving it some new skin.
But nothing is done till Tim says so.
Mitch has assembled a whole bunch of awesome dudes, hard workers. If they didn't come this week, we wouldn't even probably have this thing in primer yet.
Down in horsepower, Mike and John have some help as well. From Bill Holden of Holden Automotive Machine to Steve Mank of Conestoga Motors. Steve was part of the team that turned this empty shell into the road-ready favorite weapon of Batman.
I also have gotten to do stuff with the General Lees, the Knight Riders, the 18 vans.
Not to mention Fred's gravel crusher. And if you ever saw a personal appearance of RoboCop, yeah, that was Steve.
It was just another one of those crazy things too that happens because you're in the car industry. You know, RoboCop and his police car and the movie and everything else, and it was good.
But today, the star is this new Ford Racing 363 short block, firing with E3 plugs, topped off with this Edelbrock intake in their 800 CFM car.
Might be a little
The carburetor just needed a little bit of adjustment. The air fuel was out a little bit. We played with our O2 sensors.
You still need to go up a little bit.
We got it in. We had to chase it for just a little bit to figure out where we were. And then once we got it going, Mike's a super tuner, so as soon as he got a hold of it, it wasn't 20 minutes later, we had some jets in it and we were making pulls.
414. 431.
And after several runs,
Move it up to 34, 34 and a
a
half.
couple of timing changes,
Here we go.
Mike finds the optimum tune.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. There, 440,
Yeah, good.
418.
Did you say they were putting 8-inch tires on this thing?
Probably 350, 375 horse. It's a real number. But when that thing came out over 400 horsepower, it got my attention.
I'm stoked with this motor build. This is gonna be more than enough for what this guy needs.
But joy can be short-lived, and after Tim finished jamming with the green, he had some left over.
Tim painted it. As long as we don't have no leaks, it should stay nice and green for a long time. If not, it's gonna turn brown. And it won't matter anyways.
We'll see what the owner thinks of his new painted power maker.
My God!
Plus, these WyoTech grads make their presence known in the tech center. That's all next. We're nearing the end of week 2 and more volunteers arrive to showcase their skills.
We're gonna build a console that kind of flows from the front to the back, something simple. Yeah, it's just gonna slope down as it comes through here.
Jamie came in from Handmade Seat Company. I've seen his work for years. It is amazing. I've known lots of my buddies with hot rod shops that's hired him to build his bomber style traditional hot rod seats with all the holes and rivets. That dude is an artist with aluminum. It blows my mind what he can do.
Turn it on the music. That's what I do. I always turn it on the zone out while I B-roll every day.
Jamie Jordan possesses a very rare skill set. After all, how many people do you know who can draw you a picture with a bead roller?
And that's it.
For this project, he'll design a center console and custom door panel inserts.
Just a nice little simple console that kind of flows from the front to the back, something simple. It's just gonna look like the rivets are actually riveted into the fabric, so it should look really, really nice. We're gonna try to lay them both together and clamp them up, and then we're gonna grind them down so they match up real nicely. Guess now we drill some holes and cleco it together.
Jamie is as much an artist as he is a fabricator. And the experience he learned as a student at WyoTech gave him the skills and work ethic needed to be successful in business.
Went to WyoTech in Laramie. Proud to say I went to school there. The approach that I saw when I was there and what I learned from the instructors was really It was professional. It was exactly how they would want you to be in the job site. I'd tell anyone if they're really interested in going, go. It's a great school and I love it. We got the sides done, the top done, everything clecoed in place. I think we'll run back to the house and finish everything up and button it up real nice and neat for the car, and then we'll be back when the interior guys get here.
While one Wyotech grad leaves,
Thanks for coming.
2 more take his place.
Devin, Matt. Got here today, we automatically started getting parts in the paint booth, got doors and fenders trimmed in. So you'll seal it, we'll clean these up really good, wipe them down, spray sealer on it, and then spray color on it. Yeah, I probably look a little nervous watching somebody else in there painting after we put all this work into it, but things look like they know what they're doing.
With the engine completed and painted, it's about time we check in with the Mustang's owner, Paul Kaler, and his family from their home in Colorado.
So how you guys doing today?
Good, how's it going?
Good.
Doing good.
We've been working so hard, all these guys doing body work on your car. We've got body dust all over this place. Has anybody been asking you what was going on?
Yeah, we've had a few people ask about it. My next door neighbor wanted to know if I was getting my car repoed. And the idea was that I was gonna tear it apart and restore the whole thing myself, but I guess, you know, I can live with you guys doing it for me.
You still don't sound like you're total confident in our ability here. Is that what the rest of you are all getting here?
100%.
We got one more volunteer build team member that wants to come on camera and meet you. Here he is.
Oh, hey, it's my dad.
Hi, Paul, Jennifer, kids.
This is Tom Freelove, Paul's stepdad that he actually hasn't seen for 6 years.
Nice to see you, even if it's on camera, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
So what brought you to the area here in Nashville?
My job relocated me here about 6 years ago.
Yeah, not a bad place.
No, I like it here.
Yep.
Well, we can't wait to come out and see you, Dad.
I can't wait to see you guys.
So since he's actually seen the car, is there any questions you got for him?
Yeah, what color is it?
Well, they swore me to secrecy here. I'm not allowed to say a word.
Darn it.
We got one little thing we're going to tease you with. Here we go.
Oh my God.
There it is.
Are you serious?
Yeah, what we have here is Ford is phasing out the old 347 and they're going to a 363 small block Ford based off of the 302.
Oh my God.
So that's what you got on the bottom end. We've got some Edelbrock E205, which is a new cylinder head they have out, a Victor Jr. intake, and an 800 AVS carburetor.
And if you want to look a little harder, you can kind of get a taste of some things to come of maybe possibly one of the colors that might be on it.
It's gonna be split pea green.
I guarantee you this isn't the only color going on it, and I really think you're going to like it a lot.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate you coming out and putting in all that hard work and stuff. And I want to show my appreciation by coming out and helping you guys out on the next build too.
Well, we're going to take this thing and throw it into the car and get back to it. We'll see you shortly.
All right, you guys take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Can 2 burly guys make beautiful music together in the paint booth? Find out next when Search and Restore continues. With most of the bodywork completed, it's time for the engine and transmission to find a permanent home.
If you got this thing painted and shiny and all the paint work's done, you got all these grease monkeys leaning over this thing, you're gonna get dents. Timmy's not gonna be very happy if that happens. So you put the heavy stuff in that can really do some damage if a chain breaks.
Start pumping it, big boy.
At least that's the idea. But things are never easy when it comes to building a custom hot rod.
You're ½ inch off. That ain't gonna work.
The bolts aren't even lined up for the starter. The motor plate that goes in between the block and the transmission has to be trimmed a little bit. The newer model transmission we're using puts the starter location further down towards the bottom, and none of the bolts would line up.
Gotta go back.
Yep.
With all the panels refitted, say goodbye to the awful orange primer. It's going into the booth, and it'll be there a while, about 15 hours. To end this day, a coat of sealer and she'll be ready for the morning.
I've never seen anything come together quite this quickly with this much quality. It's great, and everyone's having so much fun.
I think Rob, he does music producing and some kind of other wizardry, I don't know. I think he plays the violin or the organ at the hockey games or something, I don't know. He does all kinds of music stuff.
I did commercial music for a number of years, and there's always creativity. There's creativity in music, there's creativity in building in the car and coming up with modifications and design.
Rob's pretty good at everything. He just asks a lot of questions and worries way too much about everything.
When we have a mission and the mission is perfection, why would I spend 2 hours making a bracket that is never seen? And everything that we fabricate, not only does it have to be safe and drivable, we need to be proud of it as if it's a piece of art.
Got the car and sealer. We got graphics and two-tones and some pinstripe colors that are gonna go on it. So now we gotta take the time to lay it all out, make sure it's right on both sides, mask some colors. Be a long day of masking and spraying.
Run it up, start running this up a little bit here.
I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Luckily, we've had all these hardworking guys here all week to help us get to this point. So I'm gonna mix up some of this color. We got some DuPont Chroma Premier base coat. It's gonna have a little shiny black, some satin black, some burnt orange, and a really cool green color that's kind of a traditionally green Mustang color almost. We'll go in and lay down where we want the burnt orange to stay. Unmask, spray the green, let that dry, mask that off, come in, spray the black.
The time has come to create a composition that relates to the pace at which both of our painters paint on the vehicle. Mike Coy, being a very intense and slow individual, is going to be painting at a very slow rate, whereas Tim is going to be screaming through, moving at a massive rate. So let's see what we can come up with, shall we?
And cut.
So here it is, end of the week. I had a projected goal. Luckily, the crew we had here felt the same way. These dudes hung right with me the whole week. It's pretty awesome. Week 2, painted and cleared, motor and tranny in it. I think I'm gonna go to the beach this weekend. Or Mike and I will stay and lay down 6 more coats of clear.
Next time on Search and Restore. Out of the booth and onto the floor for axles, suspension, and one amazing interior. Plus, more volunteers arrive to pitch in and showcase their talents.